Good evening, everyone. We're opening our pre-meeting agenda for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022, 6 p.m. This is a study session and it's open to the public and you are invited to attend. All of those that would like to speak, we will have an opportunity for you to speak during public comments and commissioner comments. All right, roll call, please. Ashley.
Mayor Sword Heath. Present. Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
I'm sorry, was it me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
It's your
Hi,
fault.
hello. I'm here, I assure you.
Commissioner Patton,
Excused.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, present. Commissioner Boone,
Present.
Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter,
Excused.
and Commissioner Harvat.
Excused. All right, so presently we have Commissioner Patton, Commissioner Barron, Carter, and Harvat that are absent for this meeting. Our minutes, you all have received the minutes from the pre-meeting we had in November 23, 2021, and we will have a motion during our regular meeting for that. Our treasurer's report, I yield the floor to Commissioner D'Angelo Boone. Both.
So for the treasury report for 2022, 2023, we have training and education workshop. Oh. Yeah. For the HRC budget for 2022 to 2023, we have training and education workshops and conferences, and our 3 diversity training workshops listed for budget. HRC committee training at 1,000 for each, total of 2,000. Then attending other conferences and conference workshops for 500, and purchase of educational material for 200, contractual payments, translator, budgeted for $25 per hour for 12 hours, for a total request of 3,000 for this calendar year. And do we need the 2021 report or is the 2020?
Yes, you can tell us what we had in our budget in 2021.
2021, we had training workshops on diversity trainings for 1,000 each, total of 2,000. Conference attendance, attending conferences and workshops for 1,500. The purchase of educational material for 200. Contractual payments, translation for $25 per hour for 12 hours. At 300, totaling 4,000 that was requested in 2021. And let's see. Let me go back to the first one.
So those are going to be submitted to the city,
City.
the new one
Yes.
submitted to the city for approval. Any other concerns or questions about our treasurer's report? We had no expenditures for 2021. So our balance will be turned over to us from the city treasurer. Any other questions or concerns about the treasurer's report? We will vote on it in the regular meeting. Old business, our discussion going to start with our complaint that we received from an individual that had some issues in November. If you would share a little bit about that to us, Commissioner Boone.
There was an incident that took place at the Hilton Hotel in November of 2021. I believe that was November 6th, I want to say, November 6th, Saturday evening, where we had some guests coming in for a conference, visiting here in Adrian, and went to the hotel, and it was told that the rooms that they had pre-reserved were no longer available and that the hotel was booked. And while they were trying to find a way to rectify the situation, the authorities were called to have them removed from the premises. And I was there as well, trying to help resolve the situation. And the ladies that were present were not hostile at all, and they were quite calm, dealing with a very challenging situation. And while we were still trying to resolve the situation and figure out where the guests were going to stay, we witnessed other guests being checked in, even though we were told that there were no rooms available. And I myself witnessed at least, I think, about 10 room keys being distributed. And then the police were called and we were asked to leave the premises. And they didn't receive any service at all. And it was a very unfortunate situation. And we did note that everyone that was checking in was not a person of color, but these two women were people of color and were denied service. And we believe that that has something to do with the service that they received or the lack thereof.
Okay. So we're waiting for the signatures to come on the complaint from the two ladies that were involved in this situation.
Yes, I did email the actual complaint to them, and one of the ladies don't really have access to technology like that, so it's going to come through the mail.
Okay.
And the other one is going to get it back to me. But Equilla Curry did write a letter that I was able to forward to everyone.
Okay, so in order for us to address this, I was wanting us to look at Article 2, Human Relations Commission, Section 3831. And I pulled out a few things about the complaint. Our responsibility in investigating any complaints of discrimination, tensions, and prejudice filed with us or referred to us can be investigated upon us knowing about it after a motion. And then we would report to the City Commission as a result of this investigation and research as it is according to our article. The Human Relations Commission shall foster mutual understanding and respect among all racial, religious, and nationality groups in the city, discouragement, discrimination, practices among any such groups or any of its members. Cooperate with city, state, and federal agencies, as well as any non-governmental organizations, and make such investigations and studies in the field of human relations as it is just, as its justment will aid in effectually its general purposes. So for our purposes, we would study and investigate problems arising between groups in the city, which may result in tensions, discrimination, or prejudice on account of race, color, creed, national origins, or ancestry, sex, age, height, weight, familial status, or physical limitations. So being that, we would have them fill out complaints. And if they fill out the complaints, the complaint form is under the Human Relations Commission ordinances. And the important note that was at the bottom of it, it reads as follows. The following information before proceeding. Your charge of discrimination must be filed within 180 days. That's 6 months. After the alleged unlawful practice has occurred. Please complete this questionnaire and return to the City of Adrian Mayor's Office, City Hall, and it gives the address telling you where to do it. Then we also had a note that says you must be interviewed by an investigator to find out if your problem is within the jurisdiction of the Human Relations Commission. So as our group, we have to make sure that it falls within our scope of working. Mayor, did you have something you want to say?
Well, does D'Angelo fall under that as the investigator since he came onto the scene I mean, it had occurred, but he saw some of it. So does he count as that person? That's what I guess, looking at that, I kind of wonder.
He would
I
be a
feel like that.
witness. He would be a witness, but he can testify to what transpired after he got there. Our issue was afterwards because he got there when the police arrived. And we have watched the video that the police had, the police cams, but we have not seen what they recorded, the two ladies that were in the incident. We did not have them give us their video so that we can investigate that part of it. And then it's our responsibility to turn it over to the city commission in terms of information. It is not investigated by them. And then according to our attorney and also our administrator, he's going to give us instructions, and he sent us a letter. All of you should have received it today. He just sent it to the two of us. Okay, so what we will do is forward it to all of you so that you have a chance to review it and look it over and see what it is that we are supposed to be doing. But at this point, we don't have anything in writing from the two ladies. And they have 6 months to get it to us from the time of the incident. So that would take us into April, isn't it?
But just, can I interject here?
Yes.
Just to update you. So this has been something that has been a weekly conversation with either myself and Chair Bernard or with the city administrator. So I have been in quite a few talks, and I know D'Angelo communicated with you as well. So when we were going to possibly have a special meeting in December to talk about this and present it to the city to, investigate it, we didn't have the signatures yet, but if that had happened, that was going to be the plan. As he was looking over this, when he became aware of how it had transpired, he started really looking into the ordinance, the city code, and really breaking it down. And then he was not really sure how we were going to proceed because he wanted to get the city attorney's opinion on that, because the way he was reading it, he wanted to see what the city attorney thought. So that is why we couldn't meet before, because the city attorney was super bogged down with a lot of other city issues at the time that he was dealing with, and he was in court a lot because of some blight issues. So anyways, what they found, here's the thing. The way that it reads, that the city administrator or his or her designee shall undertake an investigation of any complaint filed in accordance with this section alleging a violation of this chapter, not currently recognized or prescribed by Michigan or federal anti-discrimination statutes. So that concerned him because he's like, well, this is covered under federal statutes. That's what he thought, but he wasn't sure. So the city attorney actually spent quite a bit of time. That's why it's taken a little bit of time to really make sure that they were both giving us good advice. And basically, this is something, and I know I've had conversations with D'Angelo, if they would want to go to take it to that federal anti-discrimination, they definitely can. They definitely could take it that far because it actually goes right over us anyways. It doesn't, the city can't really do anything, but what we can do, and this is what the city administrator has actually said to me, is that a great point of action would be to send a letter to the Hampton Inn to, like find out who exactly it needs to go to within Hampton Inn, like the local owner or whoever that is, not just the corporation, but maybe both, okay? And let them know that we are aware as a Human Relations Commission that this injustice and, that we were brought this complaint, and we want to let you know that this is not acceptable in the city of Adrian, Michigan, and that we would hope that they would take corrective action and any necessary, means to rectify this situation and bring it to their attention, because even our city administrator said bringing it to the attention immediately Now they're like, oh, they actually have some teeth, even though we can't really do anything at even a city level, it has to be at a federal level because of the non-discrimination at the federal level. So it supersedes us. We still can put that in there, okay? And just to put, Michelle, can I share what you shared with me last night, or am I not allowed to? Okay, so to add some added teeth to that, Michelle just informed me last night after the city commission meeting that they're already reaching out to the city now. All of a sudden, the sales department reached out to the city and said, oh, if you ever have anybody come into town, or you have any, business people that you're entertaining, to try to bring their business here or whatever, have you ever thought about using us and and us being your hotel? And she just said, nope, we haven't thought about that, and just kind of left it at that. But so that right there would honestly put a little bit more weight into it too, because now they're wanting that and they're not going to get that backing because of this. Does that make sense? So unfortunately, it's not a great answer, but that's when we get that complaint, and that's why Andrea is saying, once we get the actual signatures, on that complaint from them, that's probably our next point of action, but I'm going to tell you right now, I just got permission. I wanted to make sure I could share this since it is a public meeting. I was told by our chief of police last night that the 911 call that was placed, that it's not something we can share to everyone, but we did get special permission because it doesn't come to our police department, by the way, it goes to the sheriff's, it goes to Lenawee County. I was able to get permission so I could listen to it. They did let them know the mayor is listening to this 911 call. They did inform Hampton Inn that I was being privy to that. So I was able to hear it this morning. And I'm just gonna, give you my opinion. It was, I don't want to be bothered with these people. I get off my shift. I'm gonna paraphrase everything. I get off my shift in 30 minutes. I know the next person coming in after me is not going to want to deal with it. I don't have to deal with this. I don't want to have to deal with this. There was nothing discriminatory said verbally like that, but there was an undertone and it was just, I don't want to be bothered. And so I'm calling 911. And it was highly concerning and alarming even hearing that. So, maybe that's a piece when we do write to, when we address this with the Hampton, and when it comes from the Human Relations Commission, that, the mayor does serve on this. The mayor has heard the 911 call because I know they have access to it because of it being coming from them. So maybe you should take a listen to it, and maybe that's a piece of what we include in there. I mean, there was nothing said outright, but that was the undertone, and just, I don't want to be bothered with this, and they're bothering me, and it was alarming. So, but that's the first I heard it was this morning. So, but I wanted to make sure I could share that with you. So I just wanted to put all that out there so you kind of knew where this was. It hasn't been a forgotten. Chair Bernard calls me constantly about it. I talk to Greg Elliott all the time about it. He's been talking to the city attorney about it. Michelle Dewey's been involved helping us be the intermediate person between all of our communication. This has been something that has been talked about quite often. So it's not being forgotten or pushed aside. It's just making sure that we follow everything exactly the way that we should be, and what needs to be, what we can do and can't do, and where, and that is why Greg Elliott suggested a great idea would be to address it coming from us once we receive that complaint in writing, that we say, we are aware of this, and we want you to know we know, and we are concerned, and we don't tolerate that in our community, or something along this line.
Well, we do have the option as a Human Relations Commission to investigate any complaints that come to us. But our first step is to get the complaint from the ladies and get it signed from them, and also to start doing what we need to do to talk to our city administrator as he guides us through, and our city attorney, so that we're writing the right words, and we're maybe sending it to you as the mayor and also the city commission to let you know what we found out. Now, Commissioner Boone, because he was present, he can give us greater insight as to what transpired after he arrived. What we're looking for is what happened before he got there, because the 911 call happened before he arrived.
No.
And
Right, was having.
while you were standing there?
Yes.
Okay, so the 911 call was taken. Did you hear the conversation?
I heard what she was saying to the police. yeah.
Okay, all right, so we do have a eyewitness that is going to be able to help the investigation. The other thing that we have to do is maybe make a recommendation, whether it goes to the Department of Civil Rights or the NAACP, if it is considered discriminatory. And overt conversations are still part of an investigation. Even if the intention were not to personally discriminate because they were non-white, but they still discriminated against them because of some reason. So we have to find out what that reason is. So are you all now comfortable enough that we can table this until the next meeting? And we get more information from them, and then we come back and we address it. Because we can't, this is not a situation that we can do a closed session on. We can't do a special meeting for this one. So we will address it at our meeting, at the next meeting. So we still have enough time. It's still within 180 days, and we still have time to get that from them. I would appreciate it very much, because this is something that I've dealt with for a number of years. I need the information given to me. And it doesn't mean that we're going to keep anybody on this commission unaware as to what we're doing. As soon as we get the information, it is definitely able to go to all of our members. So, and then we need to come together and find out exactly what direction we want to go. We do have to investigate once we get the application, okay? So can you give the ladies a deadline? If they refuse to send it to us and they don't send it in the time frame that we give them, then it won't be enough time to investigate. Because we have to be done in 6 months.
I just received the signed one back from one lady, one of the people. I just emailed it to everyone, and she did write a complaint to the corporate, to the hotel corporate as well. She's going to forward me that email in just a few minutes. And I took a copy of her letter, her personal letter, addressing the HRC as well.
Okay, so with all of the investigations that seem to be transpiring behind the scenes, we can pull it all together as an HRC commission, and then we can write the report and forward it where we need to. And making the Department of Civil Rights aware of what happened is something that we need to do. And we also need to make our city and our commissioners all to know what we're doing, okay? So we can get that report done. But always remember that when we investigate, we have to do it with all the information. And all of us have that obligation to make sure that the information gets to me and the mayor. And then we will make sure that the city administrator knows what we're doing at all times. And mayor has kept him posted on it, even though I haven't had a chance to personally talk to him. He has sent me an email and information so we can go forward. Now, if you have any questions, I want you to read the article of Human Relations Commission. I want you to read all of it, because this is our job. This is what we do. And if you have any questions, we can definitely make sure that we have the right information before our next meeting. All right, so I will entertain a motion in the regular meeting for us to table this until the next meeting, till information comes in. Okay? Any questions? Any comments? Commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Then let's go on to our next part of our session, and that is our new business. We're probably going to need this meeting and next meeting, pre-meeting, in order for us to actually accomplish what we need to for putting our calendar together. Ashley, Commissioner Frank, she sent the information to me, and I have her copy. Commissioner Lindsay Patton, she also sent in some suggestions, and I didn't have a chance to copy it for everybody, but I will forward it to you all later, but I'd like to hear from you all that are here tonight. Commissioner Frank, would you like to start?
Yeah, I think I whenever I send out an email, I send it out to everyone, but I send it out in little chunks. So everyone should have gotten my suggestions for,
Well, we want to discuss it. What would be your top concern? Because you put short-term goals and long-term goals, and I gave you all a list of goals that I put together for us. Combination of human relations. I first started with the mission, and is to actively promote respect for human rights and cultural diversity, to foster mutual self-respect and understanding, and promote admirable relations among all Adrian residents. So along with that, I put goals and objectives, some of the old goals and objectives that we've had for the last 3 years. Some of you weren't on the commission at that time, so I sent you those, which falls into some of the things that Ashley and also Commissioner Patton sent to me. So at this time, I'd like some.
Can I ask you something about yours, Commissioner Frank?
Yeah.
So you have 2 educational events and 2 community building. So what do you envision? I just would like to get more info, that's all. What do you envision maybe those 2 educational looking like? I do like your idea of balance. I am definitely think that's a great thought process on that. And just wondered what you were thinking on, like community building, would that be like the bridging the divide, like that kind of a thing? Or are you talking like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you what you're envisioning.
I think I consider the forums, the educational part.
Okay.
Where we're either telling the community about resources that exist that they might not know exist, like those kind of events. And then the community building, I guess, is what like the hot dogs
Okay.
kind of a
Yep,
thing,
yep.
where it's kind of like the feel good stuff, where we talk about tough stuff, but we also have the feel good stuff. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I meant by the
So a
balance.
combination.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay, I was just curious. That's why I was asking for clarification on that.
Mhm. Okay,
And I guess I have a couple other questions. Can I ask a few more? Okay. So the trauma-informed training for all city employees. Can you explain that further?
I've already kind of been talking with Elizabeth Salerno about how the city can better support, I don't know, underserved communities, or like historically underserved communities. And the key with almost all social work is the gateway drug is trauma, right? That's where addiction normally starts. That's where any kind of behaviors that people that get people in contact with the police, or where they're having the police called on them because they're in the parks. Normally, there's something that happened before that. So the different city departments having an understanding of that, because I know not everyone that's in the Parks Department has a social work background or has access to those kind of trainings like I did when I was at the school, or I know the police department does, but I know not the entire city commission does. Like teachers would, educators would, the ones that are in social work would, but maybe the business side of things wouldn't reach into trauma advocacy or an understanding of why some of these behaviors happen, like why people do end up unhoused, like having a deeper understanding of that could affect the city's ability to reach out and help people through the whole spectrum.
Could it be like, are you, because that's why I wanted clarification on that, because I was thinking you meant like sensitivity training, but could it be kind of hand in hand, more of a, like, because is that some of what your concern is too as well, or no?
Kind of, yeah, that can be part of it. I know not as much in-person conferences has happened, but I know that, yeah, like I would like it to be somehow a requirement that everyone that comes into our city gets some kind of level of just baseline understanding of trauma and how it affects decisions, behaviors, personalities, life in general, kind of a thing.
Now,
And
when
I
you
know
s-
that the continuum of care has several people that are trained to do those kind of trainings. And they've said that they'd be willing to come in and do trainings for commissioners and how that would affect decision-making in a political level. They would be willing to come in and do a special training just for employees that, the people that are out doing First Fridays and stuff like that, that might not be something they would think is something they have to consider, but we have our regulars that come through that, I don't know, I guess.
I
They're
think
seen
you're-
as a problem when they shouldn't
Yeah.
be seen as a problem. And I think trauma informed would help people not see people as a problem.
think that's awareness training. So Commissioner Patton said the same thing.
Mhm.
She talked about it. So we definitely can put something together, and we have the resources. But when you said, when people come into in the city, are you
Mhm.
talking about employees?
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Okay, so
Yeah.
because we can suggest
Mhm.
that the employees have that kind of training, but we can't dictate that to businesses, but we can just suggest
Mhm.
that we have something available and that we would like you to participate. And like you said, right now, we're probably not going to be able to do in-person training. However, there's some great training that I've attended online that via a Zoom. I wouldn't want it to be 4 hours, but we definitely can do something and put something together to deal with trauma. And people are definitely dealing with that, even with the pandemic.
Mhm.
A lot of people are considering dying, committing suicide, running into people, shooting. We've got so much going on. So we
Mhm.
do need to have more awareness. Okay, so.
And just to put it in your, out there, it's not negative. I just want to make you aware. It's just an awareness thing. We now have the vast majority of our city employees are now in unions. So we just got to make sure that it's like union approved, like, so it'd probably be something where we would need to go to our city administrator and our HR director because she knows all of the union, which is, I know it would be, I don't mean like it wouldn't be approved, but like, there's just certain
Requirements.
requirements and parameters we have to follow because they didn't used to be many union and now the majority are union. So I just want to make sure that we don't.
Well, they definitely
yeah.
have, the
Just wanna bring
union
that,
have
yeah.
guidelines as well,
Yeah,
but we certainly can negotiate with the unions.
yeah. And what I was thinking is just somehow writing it into, and being a requirement, like bloodborne illness is a regular requirement, even in the schools, and OSHA requirements, you're required to take certain trainings. So even if it's just put in there as like, you just have to show proof that you did community mental health does like every 4 months, they do a free online training for like mental health first aid.
Wellness.
Like, even if they could just show like that they did that kind of a thing, like it doesn't have to be one that we require, but maybe something that ticks the boxes that we would need, and they could do that on their own time and their schedule, something like that.
And
That's what I was thinking.
another question on here that I had is, I know you have it on both short term and honestly, you have it on both long-term and short-term, is like a mid-month check-in. Just to throw this out here, I have not discussed this with Chair Bernard, so she may not like this idea. But one thing that the city administrator does is just updates us as a city commission, the city commissioners, just does like a weekly report to us, just like, this is what I did this week. You know, it's kind of just so we know what's going on, like what's happening, but like that we know, you know, what he's doing and things like that. But, you know, maybe it's something where, you know, Chair Bernard does a mid-month report that goes to us like that kind of an update. Because if we're all talking to her, do you know what I'm saying? It's just a thought to throw out there because I saw that on both and I thought, yeah, because we only meet once a month, you know, and that's one reason why we did ask, you know, it was kind of something that we were really hoping, you know, that the city administrator would do, because for the same reason, we meet twice a month for city commission and we still feel like we don't know everything. And that really helps us stay in the loop a little bit more by having those weekly. So it wouldn't have to be weekly for us, but that's.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, but just a thought, because I saw that on there and I thought, yeah, that's not a bad idea, honestly, because some of us see each other a lot and some of us don't. So we're talking about things more. And I guess one of my questions I had for you too is, when you asked about how do we stay in the loop on human relation issues that pass through the city commission? So like, are you meaning like if there's like a blight ordinance or something like that? I don't, what do you? Because our agendas are out there, like we don't hide any, we can't, you know, it's not like we can hide anything, everything's public knowledge. So I wasn't sure, and that's why I was questioning. I didn't know what you were looking for.
Yeah, I was just like, I know that Commissioner Ramos goes to or attends a lot of the meetings or almost all of them. But I mean, that's kind of an unrealistic expectation for everyone to sit through every meeting. But if there's something, I didn't know if we could do like a rotating schedule where like Dylan is responsible for going to this meeting and giving a quick summary. Or if there's something that came up that like, hey, maybe we should pay attention to this, like the camping ban kind of flew under the radar. And that's something that I feel like the Human Relation Commission should have been part of the conversation with. So when things like that come up, and I know that was before we were reestablished, but so things like that don't happen again. If there's something that comes up in the commission meeting that we didn't all attend, or we're not going to read every agenda, or we're not going to read through all of the minutes, maybe one commissioner on a rotating schedule can go to the meetings and maybe bring up human relation relevant issues that maybe we should discuss or talk about.
Joaquin does something very similar right now with the All About Adrian Coalition. He gives reports based on, you know, because he does attend all of the city commission meetings. You know, so I mean, he's basically doing that already, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. But I mean, I see what you're saying, and just having, you know, different reports from different areas. You know, even I think it would be nice kind of expounding upon that. You know, the All About Adrian is a very active group, and, you know, and even just knowing what's going on with that group and concerns or thoughts or ideas or whatever it might be as well being brought to us. And, you know, that's another thought, just like I know we've talked about, you know, we've had a lot of groups come in and present and come meet with us, but maybe even like that group coming in and meeting with us, because they were bringing up concerns at the last All About Adrian Coalition meeting that, you know, like just wanting to make sure that the connection with the police, since we have new police officers, and making that connection and making that, they were bringing that up, that they wanted to make that connection and do that. And so those concerns are very relevant to us, and like some of the concerns I've heard voiced at the All About Adrian Coalition. So maybe that, you know, that is another group that's very active and really wanting to do some great things, and maybe, you know, bringing them into at least a meeting to hear, just like we did with a continuum of care in that group.
Yes, Joaquin does attend a lot of meetings, very many meetings. But yeah, I've tried to bring some information before, of course. There's a lot in city commission meetings, and as far as the All About Adrian Resident Coalition, there's definitely some concerns We've had some of them probably go better to the city commission, like lighting, but some of them would probably be appropriate here, and I'm sure that the group, at least some of them would be interested in coming and meeting with the HRC, though there are a couple of members here who are very regularly at A3 meetings and pretty familiar.
Okay, back to our goals and objectives.
Sorry for all the questions. I learned through asking questions, so sorry about that.
No, I mean, it's necessary for us to have this conversation. But we do need to think about what we want to do for the next few months. And since we have that, and Ashley sent out to us, Commissioner Frank sent to all of us her suggestions, I will forward to you the same thing for Commissioner Patton, which you both have some similar things on yours. And I already sent you the goals and objectives of our commission, and also the things that we not only accomplished in the last year, but also maybe it will spark from the conversation even more things like the biweekly reports or quarterly meetings. I think it's our obligation as Human Relations Commissioners that we make sure that we read the material and find out exactly what it is that, not only what we're supposed to do, but what the city commission is doing. Because the city commission makes decisions that, affect all of us, but they especially affect the people that we're supposed to be guarding or attentive to. So, and when they talked about this week about blight, they're erasing that word from the vocabulary. That doesn't sound like something I want to see disappear, but they may have a rational reason why they want to take it out and include it in maintenance technology, was it?
They just want to call it revitalization. So community revitalization.
Or the other term was property management stuff.
Oh, that was on their
Yes.
reporting
Yeah.
at the
That was
community
on-
development. Yeah, we just call it community revitalization at the
But
city commission.
those of us who understand what blight is,
Mhm.
and that it does exist in our community, we would like to see it disappear, no matter what category we put it in. But people need to know what that means when they talk about it, that it also includes blight. And it's not going to be in the name anymore. So that means there's something we need training in and being updated in that. So we do have a lot of people that we can bring before us during our pre-meetings. It was very successful in the last year. We had some very good information given to us, and we spilled over even to our regular meeting. Some very positive things for us to be able to reach towards. So is there anyone else have some other things that they'd like to talk about?
Yes,
for
I
maybe a
do.
couple more minutes.
So a couple of things. One, I had received Ashley's email. I did not receive the goals one from you unless it was a part of a different one. I might have missed it. And we had an email issue just recently, so maybe that's what happened. But other than that, I like a lot of what Ashley proposed. I would also like to see us do the home ownership seminar. And I think we were told that it was best in spring. I would double check and see when they're available. But that's definitely one of them that I would put as a fairly high priority.
Okay, let me read some of the things that you weren't able to get. It was your email. It bounced back from yours.
Yep.
Everyone else
I
received it.
I knew we
Or
had a little bit of issues.
communicate, when you don't get it, please let me know. Because there's other ways we can get it to you, like copy and mail it to you.
I'm just
that you
not
have.
sure how I'm supposed to know that I didn't get an email when I didn't get it.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that if you hear someone else got something and you did not receive it, then communicate as soon as you can.
If you had not called me or emailed me, I would not know until we got to this meeting.
Well, that's what I've been doing because it bounced back. I did call you.
Yes, and I appreciate that because that's the only reason why I knew.
That's why I say technology is great, but it doesn't always work. So that means you have to have a backup plan. So let me read some of the things that you weren't able to see, and that's the town hall meetings. We talked about leadership training, diversity and inclusion training for the city commission. Remember at our couple meetings before we ended the year, we talked about including diversity and inclusion training for city employees, and maybe have theirs separate from our training, because ours was including some of the city workers and departments. And so I think what do you all think? I should tell you, and then I could tell you what I think, but what do you think about that? So that's something. Discussion on community concerns. We still have a lot of concerns that are out there, because I'm hearing about not just blight, but having the opportunity to rent a place. I have several people that need a place to rent and it's not available. And when I was listening to the commission meeting, they were talking about some of the owners are not renting their property because they don't want to fix it up. They're trying to sell them. So if all of them are trying to sell, the people that need to rent may not be able to afford the housing. And that's where the housing home ownership forum again comes in. Bridging the divide. We only had one of the bridging divide, and that was in 2020, the end of the year. We said we were going to do another one. We tried to do it, but I think the success that we had with the partnering with the hot dogs and First Friday was a very great success. And the police department was all involved. We were right there working hand in hand. So that's something we can do again, maybe, to have something connected with the police that may not just be so formal. Also, what we didn't get to do is the fire department. We never got a chance to get the fire chief in here and talk to us about the things that they're dealing with. I have a son that's a firefighter, and I know that the challenges he's had, and he's having difficulty because he's dealing with death as well, trying to save a life, saving children, saving adults, seniors, so it's so much involved in that, but we don't really hear that. And the statistics we hear about, but not as much. Then the homelessness, that was a report that we need to make and give to the city based on what we've accomplished in the year. It hasn't been much because of the pandemic. So we do need to think about that, and we need to research that a little bit more, and not just having the consortium of care come, but also to find out what's happening with the homeless now. There's a lot of things happening, basically. Lenawee Community Mental Health. I see that they have an ad on television on their special station that reaches Adrian, and they talk about mental health in a way that I had not seen in a while. And the reason why is because we're faced with a lot of that. And we're faced with it with younger children that we would say, oh, just go sit down, you'll be all right. And it isn't. They're on these games more, and they're seeing death in a different way than we were probably raised to think of death and dying. The Lenawee Health Department, we talked about getting them back and getting the statistics, but a lot of people don't want to talk about the virus, but there's other diseases that we're faced with now because of the virus, and that is breathing, your lungs and your heart, and not being able to get into a doctor. So that's something that we really need to think about. And Mayor, we were talking about bringing some city hall departments in to talk about some things that we may be able to help them with.
Well, that's one thing I was going to suggest. One of my goals, especially because I have served on this blight initiative from like the very beginning of it getting going, and doing lots of meetings with myself and Commissioner Halt and Commissioner Strayer and our city administrator and some other people. And education, 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 communication, communication, communication. These are like the big, big things. That's why I'm repeating them. And I'm really big on that. If you're going, it doesn't need to be homeowners. The tenants a lot of times they need to know what's considered blight. Maybe they turn it in. They can be the ones turning it in so that their living conditions get better. I'm going to tell you right now, the conditions I have seen sometimes when I'm delivering food for the food pantry
Yeah.
is deplorable. I've seen ceiling tiles being used as a wall, duct taped together in a hallway of an apartment building. I can't tell you all the things I've seen. It's horrifying. And I just think that education piece and communicating is so huge. And so like, as we were talking, about the home ownership, which I think is great, maybe a sub part of that or a entirely different thing is that, that department, that community development department comes in. I would like to give Leslie Love a little bit more time in her job. She just started the community revitalization coordinator. She literally just started. But her job, I feel, is very much related to Human Relations Commission, because her job is connecting the fixed income widow that cannot afford to fix the siding on her house, and it's connecting them with nonprofits. Or, I know one thing that's really big for our city administrator, and he presented it last night, is, maybe it's a loan that it comes through the city of very low interest, to help them get, if they are homeowners. But tenants' rights and them knowing what their rights are and getting them out of these situations. And what I hear some of these landlords do to they have their tenants under their thumb because they don't realize what their rights are and what they can do. And unfortunately, it's kind of a catch-22 because we have a huge housing demand and we have a very small supply. That's unfortunately why they are getting an even bigger thumb on top of a lot of their tenants, which is just a really sad situation. Hopefully, I've been hearing good news. I think we're going to have some more housing coming soon. So let's hope. And so maybe we can really help that situation. But I just feel it's really important to get that community development group in here from City Hall, if anybody, especially because they can really help us to find out how we communicate and how we get the word out, and that we can get living conditions and better quality of life for all of our residents. I just think that is one part of our area as well when it comes to helping our citizens.
Excellent. All right, any other comments and questions? We will be out of time. So what we will do is we have still things left on our agenda for today, and we are going to have to table that. So we can just forward it into next month and also include some of the other suggestions that we have, our projects and our ideas for 2022. All right.
I think it's good though, if we try to make it a goal for next pre-meeting if Joaquin, if you can talk to Fran Brandt and try to see, because spring will be quick. So maybe we can set it up February to happen maybe in March, because that's spring, because if people are really wanting to do home ownership, and since we've already talked to Fran, I feel like that's already set in motion. So maybe that's something
Yeah,
that
she
we
did
could
say-
do pretty quickly anyways, just because we kind of already got that ball rolling.
Yeah, she did suggest that we do March or April.
I will ask her, but she'll be more than happy to, my goodness, anyway. I will ask her if she has any concerns.
Time is almost up. We're going to open up.
Sister Pat, you can talk now at public comment if you would like.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciated all of the different ideas. My one point of emphasis would be the collaboration, as you all mentioned, with the different entities, and especially in the area of racism and white privilege. I think what we did a couple years ago with the panel, and we had some other wonderful groupings of education. If we could return to something like that, even if we can't do it in person, do it both ways, in person and on Zoom, but that we get, capable people to give us some input. And that panel discussion we had with Judge Costello and the pastor and Isabel Valdez, those kind of interactions together with the community, I find very helpful for both the community and for the commission as we move forward. But I liked many of the suggestions, Ashley, that you had recommended. And Andrea, I don't believe, get your content either. I'll look again through my emails, but I don't remember getting your goals, which I was writing down when you were speaking of them. But I would appreciate getting those. So no, it
Okay.
sounds, we've done an awful lot. I did the same thing for our leadership. Is I wrote down what we've done the last 4 years, practically, when we started, with the group that wasn't even the human relations group. It was just a group
Right.
trying to promote, better relations in the city. And we did an awful lot. We had a good response, even with book clubs and study. Of course, that was at Weber Center, but I think we can be creative and find ways to do it, even in spite of COVID. So thank you. I'm
so
sorry I
much
can't
for
be
your
there with you
comments.
all, but I just didn't think it was too safe.
Well, thank you for your words of encouragement and your comments. Any other community comments? Commissioner comments? All right, we'll save announcements for our regular meeting. I like a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn our pre-meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we're gonna take maybe 3 minutes and then we'll be right back for our regular meeting. Give you just. Good evening, everyone. Our meeting is called to order. 7:06. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sword Heath,
Present?
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Patton, Commissioner Cavazos Frank, present, Commissioner Boone,
Present.
Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Harbat.
Present.
All right, we'd like to have a motion to excuse Commissioner Patton, Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter, and Commissioner Harbat.
I motion to excuse.
I second.
You've heard motion. All in favor? No, roll call. I'm sorry. Roll call vote.
All right. Motion to excuse the absences, Mayor Sword Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes, Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
Right. Approval of the pre-meeting minutes for November 23, 2021. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Swartz,
Don't we need someone to motion
Yeah,
to
it's my
approve?
motion.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and motion to approve the pre-meeting minutes of November 23rd, 2021.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Swartz,
Yes,
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes, Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Approval of the regular meeting minutes for November 23, 2021. Motion, please.
I move to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 23rd, 2021.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Swartz,
Yes,
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes, Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
Are there any additions to the regular agenda? I have one. And that is planning for the pre-meeting and regular meeting for our February meeting, that it would be changed over to another date in February, February 23rd or 24th, as the state of Michigan is coming to utilize our chambers during our regular meeting time. So I need a motion to accept an addition to the agenda.
I motion to accept the addition to the agenda.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Swartz,
yes,
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes, Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. All right, I'd like to have a motion for us to consider February the 23rd, which is Wednesday, or February the 24th, which is a Thursday evening, for our regular meeting for next month.
Should we go and discuss this a little bit now?
We can have discussion on it. Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, I can't really do Thursday, but Wednesday shouldn't be a problem for me.
Does anyone else have a problem with Wednesday?
I was gonna also suggest Wednesday. I was just making sure on my calendar.
Okay, I'm open for a motion for us to have our next meeting in February, the 23rd, which is Wednesday, 2022.
Just clarification, this would include a pre-meeting at 6 PM, our regular meeting 7.
Yes, unless you want to have an earlier 5:30.
Just checking if there's
Pre-meeting.
any reason why we need to.
Michelle, do we need to cancel this meeting and call a special meeting for that date? Since it was already out there? I don't know, I'm asking.
Right, yeah.
That's what I thought.
It's, by the way, it's the Main Street training that's
Mhm.
on the 22nd.
So what we need to do is take a motion to cancel our February, whatever date that was, the 22nd, I think.
The 22nd.
February 22nd meeting, and then we'll need to take a motion to call a special meeting for February 23rd. That's what we had to do last night for the city commission meeting as well, just to make you all aware. That's why it was called a special meeting, even though it was like a regular meeting, because it was not on a scheduled date that had been released.
Okay, our regular meeting, we will cancel for February 22nd, 2022. I'd like a motion, please.
I motion to cancel the February 22nd meeting.
I second that.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes. Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
And then I move to have a special meeting of the Human Relations Commission on Wednesday, February 23rd, with a pre-meeting at 6 and a regular meeting at 7.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes. Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
All right, unanimous vote. All right, so we will send that to the office to cover February the 22nd cancellation and also reinstating a special meeting for February 23rd, Wednesday. All right, our next list of businesses are a list of changes to the agenda. Is one, and we've already taken care of that. Approval of the regular meeting agenda. Motion. Not yet, not yet. Approval of a regular meeting agenda. I need a motion for that.
I motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes. Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Old business, current HRC issues updates. The one thing we do have for our issue would be the we need a motion to table. We're gonna table, we won't table the discussion, we table the furtherance of the investigation until such time as we receive all of the information that we need for the complaint from the complainants. So I need a motion to table that and a second.
Do you want me to motion to table it until February?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I move to table the current HRC issue of the complaint at the Hampton Inn and for furtherance investigation until we receive the complaint form from the complainants.
Need a second?
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Cavazos Frank, yes. Commissioner Boone.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. All right, accomplishments for 2021. We accomplished quite a bit. We had 3 town hall meetings. I wanted to include 2020 because at the end of 2020, we did have the bridging the divide. The other 3, do you feel that we got quite a bit done in those 3 meetings? In fact, the last one we had with the consortium, we had more people, more than we had time to finish it up. So we're going to consider that the next time we do it, not have as many agencies, because I think we had 3 that weren't able to do their questions or concerns? Any other accomplishments that we had that we'd like to duplicate for next year in the town halls? You think we should continue doing town hall meetings?
I think town hall meetings have been useful. I think that we did overload a couple of times and that we should perhaps consider having more of them, but have them be a few less people per time. But I think that it was a lot of good information that does need to get out to the community.
Okay. Any other comments about that? The other accomplishments that we had during the year was that we actually got a chance to have an outdoor event with the police department. That was very successful. I'm not sure if it was a spreader or not. I didn't hear, but I know it was a lot of people downtown July 1st for that event. So I think that's something we can do again for this summer. Okay. All right. I'd like to also thank you for your service that you were able to do for this 2021 year. It was difficult at times because some people weren't able to come. Commissioner Harvette was quarantined for almost a year, weren't you? A little
Yes.
over a year.
More
A
than
little
year.
over a year.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. So we want to thank you for your dedication and your commitment to us and for the city of Adrian. Mayor, would you like to say anything more before we go? We'll do the others. You can do that now. if you want. Yeah.
Oh, I'd help if I turn on my mic, sorry. I just want to, I know that this is something that I actually would like to start doing with all of my commissions, and I'm not going to take credit for it. It was Chair Bernard's idea, and I thought it was great, and I think it is something that just instills just showing our appreciation and our gratefulness, and because we know that it's a big commitment to be on any kind of a commission here at the city level. You take on a different added responsibility. You deal with, people coming up to you in the grocery store, or wherever it may be. There's added emails, there's more phone calls. It's not just the meetings once a month. And so anyways, I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to give you all a letter from me, but it's addressed to you, but it just says, thank you for your service to the Human Relations Commission. Your commitment and dedication to the Human Relations Commission, the citizens of our community, and the city of Adrian are greatly appreciated. I would like to recognize and thank you for being willing to serve on the Human Relations Commission and look forward to continuing to work beside you to actively promote respect for human rights and cultural diversity, to foster mutual self-respect and understanding, and promote amicable relations among all Adrian residents. So I will pass these out to all of you, but thank you very much for your dedication and your time.
We can do that now. And we also have certificate. Commissioner. All the rest of our commissioners will receive theirs. They're not here this evening, but we'd like to mention their names. In receiving their certificate of appreciation. Commissioner Harvette, I know you can see it. You will be getting yours. I'll
Thank
make
you.
sure I deliver it to you.
Thank you.
And we just like to say thank you to Commissioner Harvette, Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Barron, and also Commissioner Patton. And you will be getting your certificate and your letter from the mayor. And we just like to say thank you again for your great service to the city of Adrian for the year 2021. Now I have something that you all didn't get a chance to do it, but your signatures are on here anyway. And that is to appreciate our mayor,
Oh,
Mayor Angela Sword Heath. As the mayor of our great city, you have developed a strong Human Relations Commission that is dedicated to the service of its citizens. Thank you for your trust and your support as you serve beside us. The Human Relations Commissioners would like to give you this appreciation. We can bump.
yes.
All of our signatures are on there.
Thank you.
We just like to say thank you to our mayor because she has been right here with us the whole time. And it's a lot easier than having to go back and try to find out information because she usually comes with a lot of information. And we thank you for choosing us and giving us support all the way.
By the way, when I thanked you, there's a couple of you that are up for renewal. That means, do you like how I put in the line there that I continue looking forward to continuing to work beside you? Hint, hint, just putting that out there.
All right, we appreciate it. We're gonna have to put you in the middle somewhere so you can see us all at the same time. But thank you so much, and we thank you, Mayor, for you giving us such a wonderful opportunity to make a difference in our community. All right, at this time, we are going to talk about our yearly schedule. We put a schedule out and it's dated each and every month. So each January, we have, actually, it should have been December, into December, we give the dates that we're supposed to be meeting, which is every single month. And when we have to cancel, then what we will do, if we have to cancel, is what we did tonight, switch it out and make it another time. December has been a time that we have not been having a meeting in December. And what I would like to ask the mayor, is it possible that we can just take that off the table? Or do we just,
When you approve the schedule, you can have it however you want. So it's just, once it's up there, we have to cancel it. Or if we call a different meeting, we have to do a special meeting, but we do not have to have a meeting there. So if we set the schedule without that, December one, we can.
I did set it without having a meeting in
Mhm.
December. So what we will do at the next meeting, then we'll talk about it and then vote on it. And then we will be ready to go and not have to worry about that. So we will be having 11 meetings instead of 12. Okay? All right. Any other questions or concerns about our yearly schedule? We're going to be coming back together after we read all of the information that some of us weren't able to get. We will make sure that you have it. If you haven't gotten it in the next week, please contact me and let me know that you need it, okay? Because if it goes out from my email and it doesn't come back and say not accessible, I don't know that you didn't get it. So just check with me and let's make it better communication wise. Call me. If I don't answer you on an email or a text, call me and make sure that I am aware of it. And sometimes I may not see it, and I will do the same with you all as well, okay? Any other concerns or questions in that regard? All right. Projects. We'd like to have some projects. Projects are not just conversation or training. Projects are some things that we'd like to do. In 2019, I think we were talking about trying to do something with the youth in the community. We didn't talk too much about that in the last meeting, but I want you to think about some ideas that we can do with the youth in the community, other than just what we already have. We may want to expand some of the things that we're already doing, but just to include some of the children that go to the library. They did an extension out at the county library. Maybe something we can do there, something that we can do to encourage some of the young people that are staying at home now. And we may have to wait until the weather gets better, but just think about that, okay? Including youth. Mary, do you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, if it's something about including youth, I mean, I know that most of them, if this is something though, that it's gonna go to their parents and we're trying to include youth, we really need to make sure that we have it translated as well. I mean, I can tell you from my position that my regular job, that we have an even greater bilingual population here than I actually thought we still had. And we have to translate everything there. And I just think we need to really be cognizant of that and really making sure, because I know parents are not going to feel comfortable or even know about it to get their youth or their children there if they don't know what it says.
Yeah, and that's why it was one of my, like, the
Top
top of my
points.
list on my short-term goals, because that's a really easy,
Fix.
that's low hanging fruit. We can get a translator for all of our, at least our programs and information. We can get that translated. And I think that was a real easy, like, field goal.
Okay, so we did have Italy Feliciano, who agreed to do some translating for us with the things that we have in writing. We would like to include her in that budget part of our translating, that we can spend some of our funds for the translations. Also, we probably need to have some of the, maybe the parents that could participate with the students. Is that what you were meaning?
I meant more just communication, but yes, we could do that as well. That's not a bad idea at all. And I mean, I have a few connections. If Italy for some reason couldn't, be there or be in that role, or we needed extra. Because like I have a bilingual teacher at my school, so that's
Yeah.
fully bilingual. So.
That's excellent.
Oh.
So what we need is some resources. Okay, somebody else?
Andrea?
You have to
this
wait
is-
till, you have to wait till public comment,
Oh,
and then we'll
okay.
get you on, okay? All right. So, is there something else that we'd like to think about putting forward for, pre-adults? That means older teenagers. There's a lot of things that they're not able to do. I noticed some of them are going to the movies when they can. The skating ring is open maybe once or twice a week, not every week. But there's some bowling, and I think the bowling leagues have taken over the bowling alley. But maybe there's something else that we could do that we can still keep our distance, like they have at the movie house. You have less people in it now. Maybe we can rent it out and just have a day that we let people go in and out and pay for that. That's something, since we can't congregate as much, maybe we can think about doing that, okay?
Well, and just to think about that as well, is the weather's getting, I mean, it's bad now, so it's hard to think that far ahead, but weather will turn very soon. And, there's a lot of things that can happen outdoors as well.
Mhm.
I had an idea about, because I don't know if the city has the access to it, like the drive-in movies, and they do it for,
We do it, yep.
yeah, for like kids and stuff. But if we could do like an educational, or make that an event where it's like a documentary, or there's like specifically, there's like a community building with the I can't remember what city it was, but it's a film, and it's about community building with the police, and how, I can't remember what city it was. It was like Gary, Indiana, or somewhere in there. Where they put out a documentary where it was just how they reformed their entire police department and built up that relationship again. So if we could do maybe like educational drive-in family movie night, or podcast in the park, there are some really good like speakers, and then you don't have to pay for a
Right.
speaker to come. People could just come and listen and put out a blanket And it doesn't have to be a full discussion or like really
Right.
formal, but the information is still getting out there and inclusive. That was just something I thought of last summer, but it was like way too late to plan anything like that, but just an
Well, it's
idea.
something to put on our agenda for this year. And thinking about the park, we really had some different things going on. We had one of the churches, well, combination of churches, Bethel AME was the sponsor of it. But it's about 5 churches that came together and did Praise in the Park. And we were able to have a lot of people come in and out and still try to keep our distance as well. So there's things that we can do.
And just to keep in mind, this could even be like a collaboration possibly, because remember, we do have a Parks and Recreation Director finally again now. So, you know, this is something, and he used to work at the high school, so that's helpful as well. But, you know, he's very passionate about doing a lot of outreach when it comes, or giving our youth something to do. I know that's, you know, a passion point of his, so maybe it's even something we work in collaboration with him.
Another thing I would like us to do is to not exclude the pastors. You know, try to get these pastors to come out and be a part of our group, maybe to present something of what some of the things that they're dealing with. Maybe we can have a town hall around that. And so there's a lot we can do. And I know you're doing a podcast, aren't you, Pastor? Maybe we can have you do a podcast around some issues that the young people are dealing with. And then we all join that podcast, that particular one. And maybe we can pay some of the cost of that out of our budget for the youth department. Or even young adults talking about death and dying. You know, people think of it differently than we did years ago. We thought people only died when they got old. Now we've got all kinds of issues that we're dealing with. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, I must be one of those youth, because yeah, I view it a lot differently, but I would also like to say that we might want to consider working with some groups. So like there's M Society, which mostly focuses on young adults and teens. And there's also A3, which focuses on families. I'm sure there's other organizations as well. There's just a couple of examples.
Well, we also need to think about the senior citizens that we have that have a lot of issues. Talking about death and dying is really important. What do you do with kids that don't understand why that person is no longer around? Bringing that back into our space to help people to give, you know, some understanding to that as well. Okay. No other comments? Then we'll go to the next planning, our next pre-meeting. Do you have a speaker that you'd like us to bring to this next meeting? Or do you want us to plan something and send it out to you all?
I think we should concentrate on our goals and just do a goal setting for the next pre-meeting, honestly, just because I felt like that was a really great, healthy conversation and we just didn't have time to hear everybody. And we weren't even all here and we didn't have time. So I feel like if we just really concentrate on that, so we kind of get our vision and our goals set for where we see us going and how we're helping the community and what we're doing in the community.
Excellent.
I agree with the mayor on that.
And why we can do that. And do you all want to add a half an hour to our time for next meeting?
I think if we're only doing that, we'll have time, but it just depends on what else gets added. I mean, obviously, we just said we were tabling that discussion till February on the complaint.
Mhm.
So we would have that as well, but so I don't know what, so that would be 2 things and they're pretty major. So I don't know. What do you think?
If maybe we could focus like a discussion for the pre-meeting. And then we can do most of the talking about something, either one of those 2 topics. That way we can have the pre-meeting that we really focus on one of those topics. And then we can vote on
Well,
it. And then
yeah.
in the second, or in the regular meeting, we can have a discussion and a vote on the other topic. That way it's kind of divided up, maybe.
Well, the one thing we need to do in the pre-meeting is planning.
Mhm.
So let's leave that to planning section. And we can talk about what we want to do for our regular meeting. If we go over, it'll be okay. If we don't put a speaker in.
Mhm.
So we can also do that into our next meeting. So do you feel that we need to go 5:30? Or just go into the next meeting?
I think 6 is probably sufficient, yeah.
I didn't hear you.
I think 6 is fine. I think in an hour probably gives us. enough.
Okay, so,
I'd be concerned about having a quorum if we did 5:30 because we struggle with the 6 as it is. So that's my only concern. I mean, I can make it, but I'm just saying, I worry about everybody else making it and I just want to make sure we have a quorum.
and that's
I
why we
agree
want to
on
vote and say whether or not we can be here or not. Okay, so we will not include a half an hour extra, but if we don't finish up in the pre-meeting, then we'll go over into the regular meeting. Okay? All right. Well, is there any other conversation before I go to public comment? Hearing none, we're on public comment and Commissioner, you're on.
Oh, thank you so much. I just wanted to say in relationship to the interpretation and activities for children, I am more than happy to do any activities in Spanish. I am bilingual. I taught Head Start in Puerto Rico 8 years and taught in Spanish. So I would love to do like reading of books to children if we gather groups together, but just know I'm more than happy to do something like that for the community. And the other thought I had, when we look at like preteens maybe and teens, there's a new Disney movie that will be out. It's called Encanto, and the songs were written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And it's all about diversity and inclusivity, and it's based in Colombia, but they're like cartoon characters. It would be a wonderful film if we can get it. And I don't know how all that works because it's going to be live streamed, I guess, on Disney. But if we ever got the film, and then after divide the kids up in groups and to talk about it would be another wonderful endeavor. And to have the families there, if the mom could come or an older sister with them, it'd be great. And again, I'd be willing to work with groups and do translations. So that's just some of the things I would.
Excellent. You have that hidden talent we've been looking for, huh? All right. Thank you so much. Did you have any other comments that you'd like to make?
No, I thought those
All
were
right.
great ideas working with the youth, and also like senior citizens, if some of our older senior citizens only speak Spanish, because that's what they know mostly and never really learned English that well, I would be more than willing to be in a small group with them and dialogue and so on. Okay.
We might be doing some Zooming.
Yeah.
Get you on some Zooming.
Fun.
Since you locked down a lot, so we can
I
Zoom
know.
you in.
They're pretty strict
That
there with
sounds
us.
great. Yeah, we definitely need to do that. All right. Any other public comments? Hearing none, then we'll go to commissioner comments.
I do know that there was some questions, so I'm going to address it right now. That I do know on the line tonight that we do have at least one, if not both, of those that are making the complaint here in Adrian of discrimination. So I do want to let you know, I will send this on. I actually already asked the city administrator while we were in this meeting. And he sent me a little bit different of a one than I pulled up on my own, but it's a Department of Justice complaint that you, and it's very specific to if you're filing a complaint with the Office of Professional Responsibility. There's different links on here that you can click, and I will send this exact page along with the one I had already found, along with a different one, because the city administrator wasn't actually sure if it went to the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Michigan, and that's what he thinks, but then I couldn't find a complaint form on there. So, but I do have that information, but I also do have the Department of Justice employee or Department of Justice for funded organization complaint, how you go about doing that, and that exact page with all of those links. So I will forward all of that on. I'll send it, not forward it. I'll send it all to Commissioner Boone. That I know that he can be in contact with you to pass that on so that you can begin that process while we work on everything at this end. So I just wanted to let you know that and clarify that.
We'd just like to say welcome to you that are on, letting you know that we will be addressing the issues as they come forward to us, okay? And as soon as we get the application or the complaint, we will address it at our next meeting, but we will be gathering the information. I'm going to ask Commissioner Boone if he would get your email addresses and your phone numbers, and if you would allow me and the mayor to have that information, he can forward it to us, and then we can start communicating so that we will have a concrete investigation going and have some answers maybe by next month. Is that accommodating you all is what we are trying to get to make sure that things go according to the guidelines that we are allowed to do. And we do appreciate, we're so sorry that you had to experience that in our city. And we're trying to make sure that it doesn't happen again without us addressing it. And we will know how to address it even more so when we get through this investigation. So if you have any other concerns or questions for us, you can ask it at this time, or you can go through Commissioner Boone, and he can relay that messages to us. But we will have to talk to you if that, we would appreciate that information so we can, okay? All right. Thank you, ladies. Or is there someone that would like to speak?
I'll speak for us. Just to say thank you. My name is Equilla.
Tell us who you are. Give
My
us your
name is
name and where you're from.
My name is Equilla. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Equilla Curry. I live in York, Pennsylvania. And I'm speaking on behalf of Tiffany Davis and myself, who are the two that's making the complaint. And I just want to say thank you for looking into this for us. And Commissioner Boone does have our information, and we both agree that he can pass it on to you.
Thank you so much. We will appreciate that. And we will have a speedy investigation as fast as we get that complaint in hand, because we've already been talking about it. The mayor has been talking about it. Our administrator has tried to get all the information that we can, and we will definitely have some answers by next month. All right? We appreciate it, and good to have you with us. Any other public comments, commissioner comments? Hearing none, then we have to turn it over to the mayor. She has a presentation to make. We're still online.
All right, I think I have the MLK Day committee here. I'm not sure if it's just
You
Deanne.
have two of us.
All right, if you could come up here, please. So this year, unfortunately, due to COVID concerns, they could not have the dinner once again after they had put a lot of planning into it and thought it was going to happen this year, and it had to be canceled. So this is something I would have normally presented at the dinner, but since we could not have it, thank you for joining us tonight. And I would like to present the proclamation to you. I do want to let you all know I did read it last night at our city commission meeting and told them that I would be presenting it tonight though as well. So, all right. So, whereas the third Monday of January is a day set aside to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And whereas this day is celebrated to reflect on the principles of racial equality and nonviolent social change as espoused by Dr. King. And whereas Dr. King inspired others and exposed injustices to the American public through his moral strength. And whereas Dr. King once said, "If it takes my life to make America listen and act to free all of its people, it is a price I will gladly pay." Today we pay tribute to the greatness of his sacrifice. Now, therefore, I, Angela Sword Heath, Mayor of the City of Adrian, do hereby proclaim January 17th, 2022 as Dr. Martin Luther King Day in the city of Adrian and urge the citizens of Adrian to join us in remembrance of one of America's great leaders who through peaceful means helped improve the quality of life for all of us.
Thank you kindly, Mayor Heath, for this proclamation. We appreciate it and thank you for the city recognizing on this day Dr. Martin Luther King. Sorry we had to cancel our dinner, but next year hopefully we'll be able to meet in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for that presentation. And we just are so grateful. We did not talk about the students that received the awards and the Lifetime Achievement Award that was given. Go ahead.
Yes, so at the dinner, the scholarship recipient for 2022 was going to be announced. Shantara Holmes from Siena Heights University and Raven Weber from Adrian College. And the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award winner, John Amira F. Walters. And they were going to also be recognizing, so we're going to recognize them now, last year's Community Service Award winners, Pastor Claude Bevere, and our very own Human Relations Commissioner and a good friend of mine, Bishop D'Angelo Boone, and for his outstanding community service.
Yes.
And we were also going to recognize last year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner for 2021, and that was Mrs. Emily Martinez. So just want to recognize them and congratulate them. And I just, my heart hurts every time I see these awards and they don't happen in person, and they don't get that big hurrah. And I know D'Angelo really well to know this, that they don't do this for the accolades. They don't do this for any of that, but it's still really great when our community can all come together and, and really give this great recognition. And, one of the highlights of my year is listening to their speeches and listening to those scholarship recipients and just what they have to say. And so it's, really, we was really sad, but really glad that everyone was being safe and, and really taking that into consideration when making the decision to not have the dinner this year. But, that's the bigger piece. I feel like then even just them getting the awards is really hearing their stories and hearing what they have to say and their passion for their community and just creating equality for all and what they're doing and the difference they're making in our lives here in our community. So we thank and congratulate everyone that received an award in 2021 and 2022. And you know, it just may be a really long dinner in 2023 if we can get, you know, everybody to, we'll have to give them really short time so they can speak, but it'd be nice if we could at least hear maybe a video blip or something from at least all these winners, just because it's just really too bad that we haven't been able to be graced with their wisdom and their knowledge and just their reflection.
Well, Mayor, we're going to be having a video that's coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. We're planning on getting that exact thing. So each of the students are going to be recording. We've already recorded the Lifetime Achievement Award winners presentation. So look forward to that. We're excited about it coming out. And thank you so much for your presentation to the MLK committee. At this time, we have announcements.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and announce a couple of things. Of course, as you know, I am the elected chairperson of the All About Adrian Resident Coalition. So of course, I'm announcing a few things to do with A3. So I just want to let everyone know that second Friday is the 11th. So February 11th, and that'll be at 7 p.m. It'll be available through Facebook, Zoom, and unless the regulations change, in person. Of course, if things change, then it'll only be Zoom and maybe Facebook. And then our normal A3 meeting, in case you are interested in what's going on that side of town, is on the 13th of February at 3 p.m. If you're interested, I'll be happy to send you the address. And other than that, period packs will be coming back once it warms up a little bit. And there's some great news coming out of that. So it should be pretty exciting once it warms up a little bit and they can be a bit more active.
I would like to make an announcement, and that is that I would really like to thank D'Angelo Boone, Commissioner Boone, for not only organizing a spectacular food delivery and food pantry, but delivering the food. And wow, I mean, the effort that he goes into figuring out the routes and making it the easiest on the delivery drivers and just organizing all of that food. And but something he's done has gone outside of the box as well. And that is, you know, I helped deliver and I was like, what is this, D'Angelo? This isn't, this person's name's not on this. What? And then he said, well, it's a period pack for that family. So he's collaborating with other organizations. So it was really great. And you should have seen the look on this young mother's face when I said, oh, and she's like, what? Because she looked when I was bringing the food and I said, well, this is the period pack. And she was like, oh, like so excited. And it was just it was really great to see, but just that collaboration and just that outreach and working together with other groups. And that's really great to see. So thank you.
And we'd like to hear from you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate all the comments that were made, and I'd like to say I'm really appreciative of the recognition from the NAACP for the MLK Award as well. And I'm humbled by it. Every time I look at it and think about it, I'm really humbled. Again, I'm not share this on behalf of others. We don't do it for the recognition. We do it because it's a community need. And our goal is to enhance our community and to offer every citizen here a better quality of life and a better experience. So I'm really appreciative. We don't do it for the recognition, but it is nice when somebody recognizes the work that we put into community. And it's really in a collaborative effort. There is always any great idea, you'll find a team. And it's that team that really allows us to be innovative, think outside the box, and really be engaging when it comes to our community. So I'm really appreciative of it and honored by it. So again, thank you to the NAACP. And when it comes to the meal assistance program, there is so many hands at play when it comes to this. And also, I'm sorry, this is better.
Just to make a correction, the MLK, the Dr. Martin Luther King dinner
Okay,
committee
okay.
is a whole separate entity.
Entity,
It's not
okay.
NAACP.
Okay.
NAACP is a different.
He's getting confused because he's won too many awards this year. And he won one from NAACP, so now he's getting confused.
This is the I mean, this is the Dr. Martin Luther King committee, which is with Siena Heights University, Adrian College, Jackson Community
Wow.
College, and the community.
Wow.
Two different
Thanks.
organizations.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
That's, wow,
Yeah, we
that's,
love you in both.
I really appreciate that. Now, I appreciate knowing that as well.
Yeah, we recycle the same people.
Yeah. but it means something when you're working in community and the community recognizes the work that's being done. So I'm really appreciative of it and looking forward to the dinner. I just miss the socialization and just being able to gather with different ones and celebrate the accomplishments of others as well. So thank you. And also just a quick announcement that with the meal assistance program, we are partnering with the health department on a project to make COVID test kits available to the community. So we're going to be providing a COVID test kit to every family that we're serving through the pantry. And I also had an opportunity to attend Project Connect today. And what a really wonderful service that's provided to our population. And just all the things they made available from COVID test kits to pillows and toiletries and meals and fresh produce. And it was the collaboration of numerous organizations that was present, working together towards this effort. And I was really appreciative to be there and to help. And we even had volunteers come in just to volunteer and help out when they saw what was going on. So I just appreciative of the type of community that we have and everyone working together to make this a more inclusive place.
Okay, it sounds like we need to have a day of appreciation to volunteers in our community. So we can do something like that. And you didn't tell us where your pantry is located and how people that need food can get it.
Okay. The pantry is located at 1549 West Maumee. And we have a very innovative approach when it comes to our pantry service, which makes it available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The easiest and most convenient way to access our pantry is to download our app. And if you utilize the app, City of Refuge Ministries, INTL, if you have Androids, City of Refuge Ministries, APP, if you have Apple devices. And if you download the app and fill out the information, towards the end of it, you'll see a line that says personal shopping continue. And it's a list of every item that we have in the pantry. And you can select the food items that's appropriate for your family, that's convenient. And that is the food that we'll have prepared, either delivered or ready for pickup. There's a few ways you can access us. You can do it through our app, through our website, by phone, or just driving up on either on the second or fourth Saturday at 1 p.m. to that location and picking up. And you do not have to pre-register if you're picking up on a pickup day. But if you would like the shopping experience, then we encourage everyone to download our app. It's really convenient. You'll receive information, emails, updates, and we are also partnered with ProMedica Farms, and there are times when they give us fresh produce. If you have our app, we're able to notify you within minutes of us receiving that so that you can come and receive fresh produce on those. And we also have our Fresh Produce Day, which is at the first Thursday of every month in the St. Mary's parking lot, 327 Erie Street, every first Thursday at 12 noon. And we usually have about 150 boxes of produce that we pass out.
Excellent choices. Thank you so much for putting that together, you and your team. We just honor you for all the work that you've done. We can't even begin to tell you how much thank you doesn't say it, but thank you anyway for the time that you put in to put it together. And you've done an excellent job with how you and very intelligently put together. So thank you so much. At this time, we have no more announcements. Yes.
I would like to publicly thank, and she doesn't like when we do this to her, but Michelle Dewey.
Yes.
She organized the city food drive, put it all together. She was actually very ill and could not even be there delivering food, but was answering phone calls for all of us that were calling in while we were trying to go out there and deliver food last Friday. She set the whole schedule, even though she was, very ill, and just did everything for that, and was really the brains behind the whole operation. And we just cannot thank her enough for all the extras that she does do for our community that many times most people don't know and go unnoticed. And she kind of likes to be that person that just does it and just has that servant heart. But thank you, Michelle.
If I can
And-
say one more thing.
Yes.
Just one more last thing. I know that there are many, there may be individuals in our community that does not know the heart of our mayor, but our mayor actually volunteers at the pantry and delivers food. It was freezing cold last Saturday, and the mayor, her husband, myself were loading food to be delivered into her personal vehicle to take out and use her time to deliver within our community. So I really commend the mayor here. I've lived in a few other cities before living in Adrian, and I've never seen that done. And I'm really, it gives me a sense of pride in the city that we live in, to know that even our mayor is serving at this capacity, and that she's really dedicated to the support of our residents in the community that lives here. So my hat's off. See, thank you.
I would also like to say a couple of quick things about just how much the mayor goes over and beyond. I contact her, needing some information. I get it within days. We are doing things at A3, and she even convinces her husband to come with her and volunteer their vehicle to move all the stuff from the church to the park, and then to load it all back up and take it back. And not only are they there, but they're excitedly helping us. They are taking the lead in some of this. And we've also seen some work done in our parks, which is directly connected to the mayor, partially by her painting some of them, but also just by her being present and getting more attention there. And like, the mayor already knows I support her, and I'm very happy to have her as mayor. I've seen a few mayors, and I'm very happy with our current one.
You have an acceptance speech, Mayor?
No, but I want to just say, the reason I didn't give goals or really put out like my thought on Human Relations Commission is this is your commission. I just serve on here beside you and alongside you. I don't want it to be I want it to come from you. You are really in the trenches out there in the community. And that's why these goals need to come from you, and then I'll support it and come alongside, and we'll figure it out. Other than I did have the idea of, bringing up the community revitalization group and bringing them in, but that's why I didn't give any out there, because this is your commission, and I really just want to support you. And that was why I didn't participate. It wasn't that I was ignoring you all. So, but this is your commission.
Thank you. You make it better. I just appreciate you as well. At this time, I will open for a motion of adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.